Hey y'all, welcome to my multi-part series titled Beyond the Streamer. This series will be a deep dive into my personal journey behind the stream, 2017 until now and beyond. What I hope to convey during this series is honesty, vulnerability, and how I got through some of my toughest hurdles. As a matter of fact, my toughest hurdles that I've ever had in my life. In this clip, I'll show you a conversation that was recorded on September 25th, 2020. It's a conversation that I had with a few of my yiggins after feeling overwhelmed with anxiety, depression, and bitterness for the last week and a half. I just needed somewhere to get my thoughts out. And so I called a meeting. It was about 2.5 hours long. Actually, sorry, it was about 4.5 hours long. And we just streamed and streamed and streamed and streamed and streamed because I needed to let it out. And man, did it work. I think you can see from Jump Street that as soon as they asked me how I was doing, I had a better perspective already. Check it out. So, if I was to answer that question, I would say, all things considered, man, I'm amazing. Like, I'm deliciously amazing to the point where I understand that, like, I have a lot of things going on right now, especially mentally. Like I said before, I've been the most stressed I've ever been in my life. I've been the most anxious I've ever been in my life. And all that comes in the form of mentally and I guess, what do you call it? In life, like there's mental goals, and then there's like goals like buying a house, right? I don't know how you would say that, but both sides of the spectrum, working on me, working on making power moves outside of me. I realized that I built myself up and my character and everything that I've done to be in a really good spot, right? What I really believe is a good spot. And I really have prospered from a lot of the things that I've built up, a lot of the systems, mental systems, and where I go about, raising my family and spending my money and blah, 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 blah. But where the stress comes in at is that all of these systems I built either work when you're single really, really well, or when you have support from your spouse really, really well. Like, if you have support from your spouse, it's like rocket ship, you killing the game, you gonna murder it. When you're single, it's like, yeah, I just can do whatever I want and I'm good. So there's that. But the stress comes in for me is when, not necessarily that I don't have support from my spouse, but my ultimate goal in life is to die by my woman's bedside and vice versa. And so or not die by our bedside, but be together when I die, when we fall out. And we haven't been getting along. Whether it's being on the same page or being able to talk, so many different things. And when that's your rock, you know, like, I believe in God, so I give everything to God, but at the same time, when you do that, you got to be patient and you have to have the right perspective and mindset. And so, man, going 3 years and just being really busy and just not, going from being really good, losing a lot of weight because you're focused. I bought my house. I was able to help people with my house, all this type of stuff, and then all of a sudden it's just like, bam, I changed my core goal on what I wanted to do in my career, and everything went downhill. Right. Long story short, y'all heard this story before. I started streaming, and I realized that you have to treat streaming like a business if you want to make it successful. And it's something that I really wanted to do. My three favorite things in life is cooking, streaming, and then talking. specifically on like a deep talk type level or counseling or whatever it is. And I was like, yo, the only thing that'll let me do that is streaming, you know? And I can make my hours, I can do whatever. And I was very naive in thinking that I could just get on the stream and I'll just have viewers. And so when I realized what it took to grow, I just started attacking that so hard, and it was much more than I thought. Maturity wise, you know, my maturity didn't line up with my ambition. My relationships, like I didn't know how to deal with people. Every time I was at a party, I felt like I needed to be working. On the stream, I needed to be grinding, this, that, and the third. And so it just became kind of awkward with certain people. I lost a lot of friends. I only had a couple tight knit ones, and I lost like 2 or 3 of those. And then I gained a lot of my weight back because I wasn't working out or eating good no more. I wasn't really eating out of depression, but more or less when you're stressed, it's in like sad and stuff, it's really hard to make good choices all the time. It's like hard to be like, yeah, I'm gonna go and cook a whole meal. You like, man, I don't feel like doing nothing. So I would just eat like whack, you know. I never been an emotional eater, but that's how I gained my weight back. And you know, you just conscious of that all the time because you don't really feel that until you lose the weight and then gain it back. And then you see how garbage it is to have a stomach in the way when you're riding a bike or being out of breath walking upstairs and all that type of stuff. And you're like, man, like I'm not really self-conscious of how I look, but it's just the day-to-day how I feel that I don't like. And I used to be on point with it. So that's another aspect of it. And then not having nobody to turn to when I need to get stuff off my mind or talk about streaming and this, that, and the third made me really realize, all right, I need to talk to my wife. Well, that's when the shiny curtain, green screen came off and was like, oh yeah, we really haven't talked about stuff like that. On top of that, she has all these emotions because now she's stuck with kids. On top of that, she has all these emotions because now she's stuck with work, you know, around the house and this, that, and the third. And I wasn't able to adapt because once again, the stress levels were high and I'm just not the perkiest when my stress levels are high. I'm not sitting there like, yeah, let me go home and clean the whole house today to take the stress off my wife and blah, blah, blah. I'm like sitting there thinking about the stream and freaking how I can make this better and then sleeping at night. I was going to work with 2 to 4 hours of sleep. That's why I stress it so much on Synosis because I'm like, I was falling asleep at work. I almost lost I didn't almost lose my job, but I was getting talked to a lot and it was getting to that point, you know? And so it was just kind of like, I had to really take a step back while I streamed 5 days a week, 6 hours a day, going hard. That was stressful. I was falling asleep on stream. I don't know if Never Noir remembers that. Yeah. I just fell asleep on Stacks the other day.
No, just fell asleep.
Yeah, multiple times. Yeah, I just did it.
I remember a few of them.
Multiple times I fell asleep on stream. Like it was like a 2 times a week thing at that point. And because
it was pretty bad parts before you took a break, yeah.
Yeah. Cause I was, to give y'all an example, I would wake up at 5 a.m. and I would get off at like 2:30 or whatever it was, or 1:30, start work at 6, get off at 2:30, go into like what was it, 5, I think it was, and stream from 5 to 2 it was like 6 to 2 in the morning or something like that.
You would just go.
Yeah. No, I lied. At that time, it was 7 to 2 in the morning. It was 7 because my wife was like, I need help. But what was happening was I was dead ass tired. So then I was too sleepy and I would fall asleep in the car like before I even left work and for an hour, 2 hours, and then come home. By the time I get home, it's time for me to stream in like an hour. Well, I gotta make dinner. I gotta clean up the house. I gotta talk to my daughters and do this and do that. It was rough. It was tough, man. And on top of that, you got that thing lingering in the background, that heat from your wife. Just every time you online, every time you streaming, you just know it don't sit right. You just know tomorrow it's got to be another thing. I had a mentality of like, but I gotta make it, love. Like, you gotta do what you gotta do to make it. I gotta, you know what I mean? Not realizing that that doesn't have my ultimate goal in mind. I ain't gonna stream forever. I ain't gonna be streaming when I'm 70. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of like forced it on her a little bit and not even forced her, but just made all the excuses in the world. And part of me was like, I know that that's not right, but a very small part of me, the rest really believed it. And it really pushed her away and made her resent me a little bit. What's going on, y'all? If y'all like this video, please consider liking, subscribing, and maybe leave a comment down below telling me your thoughts. That's been my time. I love y'all. Thank you for being real, Yiggins. I'm mad.